Hey guys, welcome back everybody. So what we have covered yesterday, right? We have seen that the BTP modes. We have seen what is the use of BTP protocol, right? So basically we have three modes in the BTP. Basically, it's a major role of the server client and transparent. Opt means it's just gonna disable the BTP, right? So normally in the server mode, what you can do that you can just create the VLAN, delete the VLAN, modify the VLAN. The meaning of modify means what you can change the name, change the state, anything you can do that, right? Now, after that, what we have seen that what is the configuration revision number we have, right? So whenever the any changes is gonna happen on the switcher side, or if you're gonna add if you're gonna add the VLAN, if you're gonna remove the VLAN, then what happen? Your configuration revision number will be changed by 1, right? So at every time, your revision number will be added by +1. So for example, by default, the revision number is 0, and it will be n to the 32-bit number. It's a huge number, right? So for example, right now it's a 0. So if I'm going to add the VLAN number 10, the revision number will become the 1. Same how if I'm going to add the VLAN number 20, the 1 plus 1, now 2. If I'm going to add the 30, the 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 now. So if I'm going to delete the 30, then what happened? 3 plus 1, 4 now. So every time, doesn't matter if you're going to add the VLAN, remove the VLAN, change the name of the VLAN, and like it change the state of the VLAN, right? It's going to add the configuration revision number. And the CR number is just going to tell you the more updated information. Higher revision number is a more up-to-date information. For example, if you have a switch 1 and you have a switch 2, right? And at the same time, you have a switch 3. So switch 1, take example, has a CR number is a 10, and the other switch 3 has a CR number is what, 20. And take example, if this guy's a VLAN number 10 is created, right? So network engineer over there, so he created the VLAN number 10. Another network engineer over here, he get the VLAN number 10 over there. So both the guys gonna share the information, right? So normally what happened, the switch 2 is gonna make this guy as a preference 1 because of the higher CR number. So switch 2 will install the VLAN number 10 from the switch 3. So this is the things that we have discussed in the yesterday class. If you have a questions, you can feel free to ask me. Meantime, let me open my lab. That.
So CR number is like a revision number, isn't it, right?
Yeah, CR number is right, configuration revision number, right?
Configuration revision number. Okay. I was wondering what it stands for.
No
problem. That's fine. Thank you so much. That was the only question.
Yeah, sure. Oh, someone is sending the lots of messages to me. Wait, let's see what it. Okay, right? So let me, where's my backup? Not this one, but not chunk, right? I think it's this one. Then one. It's BT. Yeah. So this was the lab, right? That yesterday we had discussed. So let me turn on these devices and let me wipe all the configuration, and then I'll start my devices. And also we have seen that one most important concept about the CR number, right? So CR is like a VTP, is like a BTP bomb, you can call it. Why I call the BTP bomb? So if you don't have a good knowledge of the BTP, don't implement the BTP in your network, because by chance, if some other device has a higher revision number, then the neighboring switches is gonna add the database of the higher revision number. So take example, if this is switches have a 1 per 100 VLANs information, and this guy's CR number is what? Take example 100, and this is the older switches, right, in my warehouse. So some engineers bring the switches and is trying to add the switches in my network. So, but the problem is that the CR number of this guy is a 101, and there is no VLAN information. So only VLAN 1 is there. So normally in that case, what happens if you're going to turn on this interface? So what he will do that if he's a part of the same domain, if it is a part of the same domain, then what happened? He will send the information to the switch to, hey, my CR is a 101, right? Your CR is 100. So what he will do that switch 1 and switch 2, they will remove this VLAN information from the database table, and he will install the VLAN number 1. So whatever the users, right, that was a part of the VLAN 1 to 100, they all gone now. So that's a very important concept is what, don't implement, right? Don't add any devices in your BTP domain. Make sure that that CR number should be the 0, right? Or lower than this one. Then you can add it. So how you can make a 0? So either you can change the domain name. If you're going to change the domain name, in that case, what happened? The CR number will become the 0, and either you can make a transparent mode. So if you're going to make a transparent mode, your CR number will be 0. If you connect a brand new switches, what are the CR number will that switch? So by default, it's 0. The default is a 0. Now have a look. So yesterday we have done this part. One more thing that I want to discuss about the BTP, this mode, right? Off mode. So let me turn on my device, switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3.
Yesterday we set the password for the VTP. What is the reason of this password?
Sorry. What was the question?
Yesterday we set the password for VTP.
What?
So for talking VTP attack, we set the password yesterday.
Password, right? The password set yesterday, right.
So what is this reason to set this password?
Have you watched the yesterday video?
Yeah, but I not understand that the password after that.
The reason to add the password over there. So take example, this is my domain, right? That's a CCNE over there. And take example, if the attacker comes over there and he's trying to add, he's trying to make this PC as a BTP, right? And he's trying to send the BTP packets to this switches right over there. And they are part of the same domain name CCNE. Then what happened? He can make attack in your network. So better to do what happened. You can just put the password. The password will be what? I say the CCI, right? So if I'm going to add the password over there, so if any person is trying to connect with me, I will ask the password, hey, can you please give me the password? If the attacker doesn't have a password, they cannot join in your network. So better to put the password to prevent the attacks from the attacker side. Or you simply call as a to identify the identity. To identify the identity to use the password. Now, switch 1, if you see, let me change the host name first of all. Host name will be switch 1. If you go to the switch 2 now, host name will be switch 2. Come on. And this is the switch 3. Host name will be switch 3. All done. So by default, as I mentioned, that BTP is enabled. You can see the BTP status, but the name is a null over there, right? So the first requirement is what of the BTP? We must need to have a trunk interface. So let me go to the interface range 0/0 to 1, switch port trunk encapsulation .1q, switch port mode trunk, and I say that no negotiate. I need to disable the DTP protocol. It's not a mandatory to disable the DTP protocol. It is a recommendation to disable the DTP. Otherwise, what happened? Remember the first day of the DTP class, what I told you that if you're not going to disable the DTP, two things will be happen, right? One, the wastage of bandwidth. Second, anyone can perform the attack. Now, the next part over here, same thing, I need to do the manual configuration of the trunk. Interface 0/0 switch port trunk encapsulation .1q, switch port mode trunk, and switch port no negotiate. Same thing on this guy, switch 3. Interface is 0/0 switch port trunk encapsulation .1q, switch port mode trunk, and switch port no negotiate. That's how you can make a trunk and disable the DTP protocol. Next part is what we need to make a BTP domain name. As the BTP domain name is CCI. By default, the domain name is null. One thing more. Let me put some value over there. Anything. Doesn't matter, right? What he's trying to tell you, hey, the domain name must be up to the 32 character. You cannot go beyond that one. If you're going beyond that one, what happened? If you see, this was the last 32, right? So he's only taking this 32 digit. So domain name has a limitation. You can only add the 32 digit number, or we can call it a name, but not more than value, right? So let me remove it because I don't want this kind of domain name. As the BTP domain name is CCI. That's perfect. Same thing on this guy, CCI, right? And this guy. All is it because they have negotiated now. So remember yesterday I told you that if you define the CCI over there and this guy has a null value, so what is the beauty part of this guy? So it will send a request packet. Hey, my domain name is CCI right now. If this guy is a null, then what he will do that? He will just negotiate the CCI. Same way, he will flood this information to the Swiss3. Swiss3 also has a null. What he can do that, if they have a null, then they can negotiate the domain name as a CCI. Now, let me show you the VTP status right now. Do show VTP status. The default revision number is what? It's a 0, right? And the default mode is what? Server. Same thing if you go on switch 2 right now. So do show VTP status. I have a server right now. And I can make this guy as a VTP mode is what? As a transparent. And this guy's a VTP mode as a client. So if you see the do show VTP status, the CR number is 0. And I don't have any VLAN information anywhere. So if you put the command do show VLAN brief, I don't have any information of the VLAN. These are just a default VLAN 102, 103, 1045. The VLAN number 1, right, which is by default present on the Cisco devices, and all the ports belong to the VLAN number 1. And you cannot change the VLAN number 1. So I cannot say that, okay, let's change the VLAN number 1 name. Like it's a default name. I cannot change the name of this guy. I cannot change the status of this guy. Right. And that's a by default. It's also called as a by default native VLAN as well, the VLAN number 1. Now, what I'm going to show you over there, if you see the switch 1 as the VLAN number 10 over here, what happened? I will add the configuration revision number will be 1. Do so VTP status. And if you see the previously the existing VLAN is 5, now it will become the 6 now. So once I get the VLAN number 10, switch will pass this information to the switch 2 and switch 2 will pass this information to the switch 3. So if you see on the switch 3 as well, I have a 10 now. And what will be the CR? Same value. So CR will be remain same in the entire domain network. How about the switch 2 now? If you see on the switch 2, because the switch 2 mode is a transparent, it's not going to add any VLAN over there. So if you see the do so VLAN brief, I don't have a VLAN number 10. If you see the do so VTP status, I'm not changing my CR number. Even if I'm going to create the VLAN number 10 over here, let's take example on the switch 2, which is in the transparent mode, right? Which is in the transparent mode. If I say the VLAN number 10, I said the do so VTP status, what happened? I'm not changing the CR number. So sometimes in the interview, right? So interview is asking this kind of question. Okay, they will give you this kind of scenario. I mean, they will ask you, hey, tell me one thing. What happened if I'm going to create the VLAN number 10 over here? This is the server, this is the transparent, this is the client. So will the switch 2 will accept this information and install the VLAN number 10? So normally they will ask you this kind of scenario question. You just simply say that, hey, when the switch 1 is going to create the VLAN number 10, it will just pass the information to the switch 2. What is the behavior of the transparent? The behavior of the transparent is just going to relay this information. It just pass on this information to the switch 3. Switch 3 will have the VLAN number 10, but not the switch 2. Okay, the next question they will ask you. Okay, that's not a big deal. So it means that the user that belong to the VLAN number 10 right now on the P switch 1, right? I have a user number VLAN number on the switch 3 as well. I have a user over there as well. How can I provide the communication now? Because if the switch 1 is creating the VLAN number 10, it's just passing to the switch 2, but switch 2 is not installing it. Whereas the switch 3 is installing it. Now, how I can provide the communication between this device to this device? So in that case, you have to say that because the behavior of the transparent is what? Everything they are creating the locally. So you need to manually create the VLAN number 10 over here. Again, next question they will ask you, right? What happened with the CR number now? So on the transparent switches, right? On the transparent mode, even if I'm going to create the VLAN number, anything 20 or VLAN number 30, take example, my CR will be still 0. My CR will be still 0. So these are the beautiful questions, right? They can ask you in the interview, right? So in a scenario-based questions. So it doesn't matter how many VLANs you create on the transparent switches, your CR will be remain same. Now the next part is what? Okay, so let me do so VLAN brief. I'll remove the VLAN number 20 and no VLAN 30. But I can show you that. Now, next thing is, let's come to the discuss of the packet types right now. Let me show you the clouds are, because I don't have Wireshark in my web IO, so BTP clouds are. So the 4 packets we have discussed, right? If you guys remember that, this one. Normally, people are not asking this kind of question in the interview, but who knows who is the interview, right? So let's discuss it. So the first packet, okay, it doesn't have the complete information. 1 minute. Summary subset. Summary subset. I don't have advertisement request, man. Hold on, you can get somewhere. Packet like capture. Okay, anyways, that's 2 packets is enough, man. That's not a big deal. So advertisement request is just gonna putting the request, nothing else. So the first packet we have is called as a summary advertisement packet. So normally this packet is a periodic packet. Periodic packet means what? At every 300 second, or we can call as at every 5 minutes, the switch one is gonna send the BTP advertisement packet, or we can call it a summary advertisement packet to the switch two. So for example, if they belong to the same domain name is a CCNA. So what happened? So switch one is going to send the summary advertisement packet to the switch two, and switch two is going to send the summary advertisement packet to the switch one. That's a default behavior. What information basically they will contain? This summary advertisement packet doesn't contain the any VLAN information. It doesn't contain the any VLAN information. What major part they will contain? That the domain name information, CR number information, if you see, and the multicast address for this guy will seem like a DTP one. If you guys remember that, the same address is for the DTP 01000C CCCC. This is the multicast address for the BTP and DTP, right? And now if you see the VLAN trunking protocol, that's a summary advertisement packet. The most interesting concept, what summary advertisement is contained, the domain name. The first tag, the version is a version is 2 right now. Okay, the default version, if I talk about, so we have 3 versions in the BTP protocol. Let me tell you, we have a version 1, we have a version 2, and we have a version 3. Again, some switches, right? If you go with the older switches, right, they are running with the version 1. Some switches are running with the version 2 default as a. So again, it's depend on the scenario. If you see on the web IO right now, I think so it's running with the version 1. Yeah, it's running with the version 1 right now. So default is running with the 1, but again, it's depend on the devices by devices. Now, this 2 version, there's no any big difference in the version 1 and version 2. Only the difference is what? Version 2 does support the token ring VLAN. Version 2 does support the token ring VLAN, whereas the version 1 doesn't support that. Now you have a question, hey, what is not token ring VLAN? Don't worry about that. Nobody is going to ask you the question about the token ring VLAN. Nobody. What VLAN you are learning right now, let me tell you, you are learning the Ethernet VLAN. Right, you are learning the Ethernet. So we have a different types of VLAN. One is called the Ethernet VLAN that you are learning right now. Another type of called the token ring VLAN. I think so. This one was introduced. I'm not pretty sure, right? I think so. This one was introduced by the IBM, right? So normally it's used in the IBM company. I'm not pretty sure again about this part. But nobody's right now. We are not seeing this thing in the production network. We are only seeing the Ethernet VLAN in the production. Next part, if you see, we have a summary advertisement. The code, if you see, this code can be changed depend on the packet types. So right now it's a summary advertisement, but it could be the subset advertisement as well. It could be the advertisement requirement as well. It could be the pruning as well. So depend on the packet types, this behavior will change, and this is the hex value to represent the packet types. Normally, because your what we call your devices, your router and switches, it only understand the binary, right? 01010101. So this is the hex way to represent that packet types. Then we have followers means what? The followers is just gonna tell you that, hey, do we have any packets behind me or not? If the followers is 1, it means that you have a subset advertisement in the back. It means that the first packet will be somebody advertisement, right? And the second packet in the back will be have a subset advertisement. That's the meaning of followers. If you have a 1, it means that you have a subset advertisement in the back. If you don't have a followers 1, if you make it's 0 over there, it means that it's a normal periodic packet. So if you have a 0 over there, then you will have a single summary advertisement packet. There will be no packet behind it. Next thing, if you see, we have a management domain length. This is just going to tell you what is the size of the domain name, nothing else. It's a 4 byte. 4 means 4 byte. And that's a management domain name is a test. I define as a CCNA right now, but this guy has defined the test over there. Then after that, configuration division number, we have already seen that. What is the use case of CR? Higher CR, right? Higher CR has a more up-to-date information. Next part, that's the most interesting one. The updated identity. Focus on the name. Updated means the guy who will update it. Who will update? Which thing they will update? They will update the VLAN database. Identity means what? What will be the ID of that person? So normally, in normal real life, our name is the identity, right? But in the networking, right, each devices has an identity. That's called as the IP addresses. So if you don't set the ID, by default, it will take the 0 or 0 or 0 or 0 or 0. If you don't set the ID, then by default, it will take the 0 or 0 or 0 or 0. So let me show you this part. If you check in my database table right now, so switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, and let me say that. Show BTP status. Right now the ID is 0000000, right? What I can do that, I'll create some SBI. I'll explain you what is SBI. Don't worry about that. I'm just creating a one of the interface, right? Interface VLAN number 10. And I say the IP address will be. Don't worry, I'll explain you this thing. What is the SBI right now? All done. Now I'll say the VLAN number 100, VLAN number 200. If you see, do show BTP status now. Can you see that? Show VLAN brief. This 100 and 200 comes over here. I just created on this guy, guys. Please pay attention. I just created the 100 and 200 on this guy. What is the ID of this guy? Is wonder1. He is informed to the transparent. Transparent doesn't contain anything. He will just pass this information to the client. What client will do that? He will install this information 100 and 200. And what he will tell that, hey, you know one thing, I got this information. I got this information from whom? I got this information from the wonder1. So you can set the identifier to the each and every devices, so that in the production network, if anyone is troubleshooting, right, they can easily identify this guy. I mean, say the on this device, the changes has happened. At which time? This particular time. This is called as a timestamp. Timestamp is nothing but it just give you the accurate timer, right? Accurate time, what time this event was happened. what time the last modify was happened, and who did this modify? The one has did the modify. Who is the one? The one is switch one. So if you just create the SBI, right? If you just create the SBI, so what happened, that SBI ID will be the SBI IP address will be the identifier for the BTP domain, not BTP domain for that particular switches. Next part is what? If you see, not this one. In this packet, we have a MD5 digest value. This is nothing but this is just a hash value of your database. Database in the sense, whenever you are gonna change the VLAN, for example, this is my database table, right? That's my VLAN dot dat file, right? So whenever I'm gonna change my database table, for example, right now we have a 10 and 20, my hash value will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take example. So for example, the user has created the on a switch one, the user has created the VLAN number 30. So now I'm going to add the 30. Again, what happened? I will perform the MD5 algorithm, right? MD5 hashing algorithm on this database table, and I will get the different value. Maybe now I will get the 4, 5, 6. After some time, what happened? Maybe I will delete this guy. So if I'm deleting this guy, it means that the database table has been modified. Again, I have to run the MD5 algorithm. Like this way. So this MD5 will be same on the entire devices. So if you see on the switch 1 and switch 3, if you see same value. So normally this digest value, we are exchanging it so that every devices has a correct information or same information. Right? That's my first packet of the summary advertisement. Summary advertisement, again, I'm repeating, it doesn't contain, right? It doesn't contain the VLAN information. It just contain the major part is what? That's a major part. You don't need to remember each and every stuff over there. The most important stuff is what in the summary advertisement. This guy, that's a domain name and CR number. That's a important stuff. So I have already mentioned this stuff in the paint file as well. Second part, subset advertisement. This packet contains actually the VLAN information. So if you see that, this guy's subset advertisement, you have a VLAN information. You see that? See, 0x2 means what? It's a version number 2. Subset advertisement, the code is still now, right? Sequence number, it's just gonna like a what we call to avoid the duplication of the packet. Management domain name size, management domain name, and the configuration division number. Now we have a VLAN information. For example, if you're gonna open the VLAN, if you see hold on, I'm showing that's the name of the VLAN. What's the value of that? Okay. Everybody has a name. I'm looking for the value. This is the name that I have defined. What is the VLAN ID they have? That's name, that's MTU size, ISL protocol. The type is Ethernet. Can you see that? So I mentioned that there is another type is called the token link. But right now the VLAN we are learning is called the Ethernet VLAN. The status, right, is suspended or not. If the suspended is true, then it means that the VLAN is suspended. And this is the packet that contains the status of the VLAN. The status means what? Either it could be the active or either it could be the suspended. So if it is suspended, then it will be the true over there. I think so. The VLAN information length, right? So this is the VLAN number. I think so. That This will be the VLAN number, I think so. I will
So
check
this
it.
is this is VLAN ID in hexadecimal.
Yeah. So that's a VLAN ID. The length is a VLAN number, right? That's a VLAN ID. So this is the name of that one, the VLAN name. No, dude, that's not. I think so.
VLAN ID, sir. VLAN ID.
This is the,
ISL VLAN ID in hexadecimal.
oh, that's in the hexadecimal. Okay. So
Yes.
this is in the hexadecimal format, right? So 0A means 10 is there.
10.
Okay. And if you see the 14 over there, then we have a 3EA. That's a long digit number, right? So that's how the VLAN information are shared in the subset advertisement. The next packet that we have over here is called as a advertisement request. This packet is a little interesting one, right? What is the use of this packet? For example, switch 1, we have a switch 2, right? And we have a switch 3. Understand this is the server right now. And this is the what we call. Okay, I'll make this guy also server, take example. And this guy is in right now in the down, the interface is down right now. And this guy has a VLAN number 10, this guy's a VLAN number 20, and this guy's a VLAN number 30, and this guy's a CR number is what? Maybe 20. This guy's the same VLAN number 10, 20, and 30. This guy's CR number is also 20 right now. So this is the device. They are right now, this also domain name is a CCNA, take example. This domain name is CCNA also, and this domain name is also CCNA. Now what happened in that case? Switch 3, right now this interface is down. This is the, we can call as it's an old device that I have, right? This device has a CR number maybe 2 right now, take example, right? So in that case, if I'm going to add the switches in this domain right now, if I'm going to up this interface, so normally what switch 3 will do that, switch 3 is going to make a request, hey, can you give me the complete VLAN information because my CR is number is, because when the switch 2 is going to share this information to the switch 3, right? He will say the, hey, CR number is 20 right now. So switch 3 will look up the database table and say that, hey, my CR is 2. It means that you have a updated information. Guys, please pay attention. When the switch 2 has sent the summary advertisement packet, that's a default packet at every 5 minutes, 300 seconds. When the switch 2 has said this packet to the switch 3 has received this packet, say that, hey, your CR is 20, my CR is 2 only. It means that your is higher. Higher means what? More up-to-date information. So switch 3 can inform to the switch 2, hey, can you please give me all the information that you have, the updated information. Then after that, the switch 2 will send the subset advertisement packet. Then the switch 2 will send the subset advertisement packet to the switch 3. And once the switch 3 will receive the subset advertisement packet, they will add the VLAN number 10, 20, and 30, and they will change the CR number with the 20 now. So advertisement request means what? When some switch does not have a complete information about the VLAN, then switch can request by sending the advertisement request, hey, I need a complete VLAN information. That's how all these 3 packets are working. BTP pruning, I'll explain you, don't worry about that. Now, this is all about your BTP, guys, right? Off mode means what? You just disable the BTP. One more version you have, that's called the BTP version 3, which is not a part of the syllabus. It comes in the CCI normally. Right. So BTP version 3, I'll explain you what is major role of the BTP version 3. Normally what happened, your VLAN that you have a range is called as a 124094, right? That's a 12-bit range you have. In this 12-bit, try to understand, you can only create the VLAN 121005. That's called as a normal range of VLAN. If you want to create the extended range of VLAN, that's from the 1006 to 4094. This is called extended range of VLAN. If you want to create the extended range of VLAN, then what you have to do that? Then you need to enable the version 3. Okay, again, I'm repeating, this is not only the requirement. There's another requirement also we have. Okay, this is just, I'll just tell you because you know this part. That's why I'm telling you. This is the one of the requirement, but this is not a major requirement. If I tell you the major requirement, right, to change the BTP version 3 is that what? To share. If somebody know, that's good thing. If somebody doesn't know, leave this part. To share the private VLAN and MST information we can call as, to the neighbor switches. So normally in the version 1 and version 2, the private VLAN and the MST information cannot share by the switch 1 to the switch 2. So if take example, if this is the switch 1 and this is the switch 2, right? And if I'm going to create the private VLAN over there, some information, and MST some information, and if you are running with the version 1, VTP version 1, I cannot share this information to the switch 2. I have to log into the switch 2 and again I have to create the private VLAN and MST information. These are the advanced topic of the VLAN that we're going to discuss on the Monday. So that's a problem in the version 1. So what version 3 has solved it? Version 3 said, hey, don't worry about that. If you're going to create the private VLAN and MST configuration on the switch 1, with the help of version 3, I can share this information to the switch 2. So no need to do the box-to-box configuration, right? No need to do box-to-box configuration for private VLAN and MST in version 3. Another use case, this one. And in VTP version 3, right, you have also called as a concept of what? You have a something called as a concept of the primary and secondary server. Again, that's not a part of, I'm just giving the overview of the version 3 right now. Yeah, so you have a primary and secondary server. So normally in the VTP version 1, what you have just a server, right? You just have a server. There's no primary, there's no secondary. You just have a server. But in the VTP version 3, you have a concept of this one. At the same time, in a VTP version 3, the default mode is a transparent mode. That's all for the VTP. Okay, before I'm gonna complete this topic, I want to show you something. Let me show you over here. Okay. Okay, let's read it. So VLAN trunking protocol is a reduce the administrative in the switch network that we have seen that. Okay, so basically the main purpose is what the VTP, it's going to reduce the admin work, right? When you configure a new VLAN on a one BTP server, the VLAN is distributed through all the switches in the domain. That's how we have seen that. This reduce the need of configuration of the same VLAN everywhere. This reduce the need to configure the same VLAN everywhere is what on all switches. BTP is a layer 2 protocol. It's a Cisco provided protocol. It means that it's only available on the Cisco switches, not the other vendor. Multiple versions we have, version 1, version 2, version 3. Version 1 and version 2 both are compatible. Right? But version 3 is totally different. We have seen this packet that's called as a summary advertisement packet, right? So normally your packet will be exchanged on this particular multicast MAC address 01000C CCCC. This is the multicast MAC address of the BTP packet, same one as a DTP as well. To exchange the BTP packet, the most important concept is what? You must have a encapsulation protocol 80.1q, right? So either you can go with the ISL, or either you can go with the 80.1, that's fine. But you must need to have a interface as a trunk, because the stand for the BTP is what? It's a VLAN trunking protocol. It means that I can only share the VLAN information on the trunk interface, not the access port. So switch 1, switch 2, right? And we have this interface 0/0, this interface 0/0. We have another PCs over there 0/1. So this interface is the access port. This is the interface is the access port. 0/1, right? So this is the trunk interface. So only the VLAN information, or we can call it the BTP information, will be exchanged on the trunk interface, not the access port. On access port, we are not going to exchange the BTP information. We are only going to exchange on the trunk port. So summary advertisement, subset advertisement request. I'm coming to the BTP join message. Don't worry about that. Major part, what summary advertisement contains. This is the major part: domain name and configuration division number. That's a 32-bit number, right? So each time when you're going to modify by 1, right? Each time that you make a VLAN changes in the BTP device, the configuration division number is incremented by the 1. In order to reset, right? That's a good one. In order to reset the configuration division number, then what you have to do that? We already did the practical of this thing, right? Change the BTP domain name and then change name back to the original name. Apart from this thing, what you can do that? Change the mode to the transparent and then back to the client. So by default, in the summary advertisement, will send in the 5 minutes. That's a periodic packet. That's majorly contain the configuration division number and domain name information. That's a major part of this packet. We have already discussed each and everything, right? In the Wireshark, right? The another important part of the summary advertisement is called the updated identity. It will just tell you who has updated this VLAN information. Enable show BTP status. Wonder. Right? Same thing if you can create it on the switch 3 as well. For example, also the VLAN 100 IP address will be, I'll make the switch 3 as a 3.3.3.3. All done. It's not taking /32. No shutdown. Do show VLAN brief. Do show IP interface brief. It's done now. Do show BTP status. Right? So let's do one thing. What I can do that on a switch 3. I'll change this guy as what? BTP mode server. And now I'll change something over here. VLAN number 500. Do so BTP status. You can see what happened. Previously it was 1.1.1.1, right? I cannot create any VLAN in the client mode. That's why I changed the server. And after that, what happened? Now the switch 3 has a 3.3.3.3. Right? So we have seen the summary advertisement. Then subset data that majorly contain the VLAN information. That's the most interesting content. So if there are several VLAN, more than one subset advertising can be required in order to advertise all the VLAN information. Same meaning is simple. If the one packet doesn't contain the all VLAN information, then it can advertise the multiple subset advertisement packet, right? If the one packet doesn't contain the all the VLAN information, then it can advertise the multiple subset advertisement packet. So basically, as I mentioned that advertisement request packet, right? This packet doesn't have much more information, right? The only part is what? The major part, the domain name. So this is the advertisement request. This is the structure of the advertisement request packet. It was not there in the Wireshark. You can see over here. So majorly this part is what? BTP domain name. See this line. I will also explain this part as well, guys. If you guys give a sequence number, right? To avoid the duplication, right? Just gonna maintain the track, nothing else. Track in the sense of what? if I'm going to send a multiple subset advertisement packet, for example, if I have multiple VLAN information, right, and I want to extend this VLAN information to the neighboring devices, how does I'm going to identify this is the first subset advertisement packet, and this is the second subset advertisement packet, and this is the third subset advertisement packet based on the sequence number. Next one, we have a advertisement request that we have already seen that. So if you see this line, when advertisement request is received, it means that when the one device, take example, switch 2 and switch 3 we have. So this the link is down right now. VLAN 1020, CR is 20, VLAN 1020, CR is 20. And if this link is down right now, so take example, what happened? Come on. So when the advertisement request is received, so take example, when the switch 3 will send the advertisement request to the switch 2, a BTP device send a summary advertisement, right? So what BTP device will do the switch 2? It will send a summary advertisement. At the same time, it will send the subset advertisement that contain the VLAN information 1020 and CR number will be 20. So he will update this database table. So first packet will be summary advertisement. Second packet will be subset advertisement. Right, those are the modes that we have seen. BTP server mode, we have already seen that you can do anything in the server mode, right? In the client mode, basically, you cannot do anything. Same like behave like a BTP server. Like I can synchronize the VLAN information, I can relay it, but I cannot do anything. Transparent, you can do anything, right? But you have to do locally. So I'm not going to share the information over there. So basically the transparent means what? I'm not going to participate in the BTP. Now, another mode, we have an off mode. Another mode, we have a off mode. The major part, if you see the difference, right? The major difference in this two mode is what? The major part. Can you tell me anybody what's the difference in the major part? It's written over here. All the theory is written in front of you. Can you look and let me know what's the major difference in that transparent and the off mode?
So in the
only
off mode,
receives,
the
not
advertisement is not
forwarding.
forwarded.
Exactly, that's an interesting one, right? So this is the major part. Guys, please make a note of this thing, and it's gonna very helpful for you, everybody. So BTP is not gonna forward it. Okay, that's a major one. Good catch, everybody. Okay, that's a major difference between version 1 and BTP version 2. The major difference, already we have discussed all those things, right? I'm just recapping it, nothing else. So the major part is what? It's gonna support the token name. That's only the major difference. The BT version 2 introduced the support the tokening VLANs. So if you are using the tokening VLAN, you can do that. So this is the task for you guys as well. Take a homework or assignment. What is tokening VLAN? I'm not going to tell you, so you have to spend the 1 hour, just spend the 10 minutes on the Google. That's it. What is the tokening VLAN and who introduced the tokening VLAN? I think so it is introduced by the IBM, but check it one more time, right, on the Google. BTP password, we have already seen that, right? MD5 password, you're doing that. Summary advertisement contain the BTP password information. BTP pruning. Interesting concept. I'll explain you over here. This is a very good topology, actually. First, understand the meaning of pruning. Let me Google it for you. Simple term. See, whenever you are trying to understand any technology, right? Google it. Just find the actual meaning of that. So if you are very comfortable with the Hindi, just find the Hindi meaning. If you're comfortable in the German, just find the German meaning. If you're comfortable in the French, find in the French. So if you just find in the Hindi, right? If you see, rather in the Hindi, chatai, cut off, right? Reduce it, cut down.
So basically
Remove it, actually.
removing the unwanted, weeding out the unwanted
Exactly,
parts.
right. That's
keeping the
that's
important
a
one.
definition of that one. So pruning means what? Guys, this word, right, you may encounter in the multicasting too. So when you go for the CCI level things, right? So you may encounter this pruning word many times. Pruning means what? I don't need this information. Please don't send to me. That's how the pruning. By default, let me tell you. By default, pruning is disabled. And you cannot enable the pruning. These are the few important words. You cannot enable the pruning for VLAN number 1, or we can call it the native VLAN. Cannot enable the pruning for the native VLAN. Second thing is that you can only enable the pruning on the server mode switches. If you're going to enable on the server mode, it will replicate this information to the entire domain. What pruning is actually doing that? Understand this concept. Let me focus over there. If you see this guy, it's a very interesting topology we have. I start from here. I'll just make a domain for you. Okay, this is the red VLAN. There is no ID of the VLAN. They just define the red VLAN. Now, so normally what happened, right? If this guy is gonna make a broadcasting, right? If the PC is gonna make a broadcasting, right? Normally, the red VLAN is also present over there, but the problem is that only the users are present over here. User is there, but the VLANs is also over there, red VLAN, right? So what happened when the PC is gonna send the broadcast packet? It comes to the switch B, right? Red VLAN is also there in the entire network. What he will do that he's forwarding the red packet to this guy as well. Now he's gonna forward the packet to this guy and this guy as well, and now he's gonna forward the packet to this guy. Understood? So when the port 1, the PC is gonna send the broadcast packet, it's come in the entire network. In the entire network, they're flooding this packet. What is the use to flood the packet in the entire network? Do we have any user sitting over here? User is sitting only over here, right? But the red VLAN is present everywhere in the network. Do we have a user over there? No, there is no user. User is only sitting over there. So if I'm gonna make a broadcasting, only this person can listen, right? Not this person. Then why we are gonna send the broadcasting in this network? Can you see that? Why we are gonna send the broadcast over here? It's totally wastage of bandwidth. Totally wastage of bandwidth. So what pruning is gonna do that? If you're gonna enable the pruning on the switches, then what he will do that? Eliminate the unnecessary traffic. Prune the unnecessary traffic. But isn't that also addressed by the STP, or I didn't understand, addressed by the STP, or am I mixing of the two different scenario? You are mixing, I think so you are mixing. STP is a different thing, pruning is a different thing. In STP, there is no pruning word somewhere. Right? So basically what pruning is gonna do that, if you're gonna enable the pruning, let me take a snip of this guy. And I'll show you in the next picture. Right? And now have a look. What pruning is gonna do that. I just enabled the pruning. After what happened? I cut off the packet now, so I'm not going to send the packet to the over here. Flood traffic is pruned now. Previously, it was sending away. It's a without pruning, right? Without VTP pruning and with VTP pruning. See the difference is that. See, do you know one thing? Picture always give the good explanation. Which switch is a server to use the pruning? Which switch in the sense you can use on any server switches. It will flood the info. I'll show you the practical. Don't worry about that. I'll show you the practical. Just give me 1 minute. So the diagram will give you the complete information. You will never ever forget. So if you see that in this one, what happened? I was sending the traffic to everyone, entire network, man. Now, not sending it. After enabling the pruning, now I'm sending the packet home. Because there is no any user are sitting over there. Why should I send the packet? That's how the pruning works, guys. See, when the pruning is enabled on the BTP server, pruning is enabled for the entire management domain. Management domain means what? Whatever the switches are present in that particular BTP domain. This feature makes the VLAN. I'm so sorry. This feature makes VLAN pruning eligible for the pruning, ineligible effects for the pruning. Leave this part. It's very tricky for you. No need to understand this concept. Yeah. So pruning is not going to prune which VLANs? These VLANs. The VLAN number 1 and 102.1.0.0.5. These are the range of the VLAN. So you cannot prune the VLAN brief. These VLANs cannot be pruned. These VLAN cannot be pruned and these VLAN cannot be pruned. Next part is what? That's he also mentioned the VLAN is greater than the 1005. It means that 1006 to 4094 are the extended range of VLAN. Or that's also are the pruning ineligible. That you cannot also prune that particular VLAN. Next part. Yeah, these are some major important one. The consideration, right? You can configure VLAN without the BTP domain name. Configure on the switches, right? That's how we have seen that. You can configure the VLAN without the BTP domain name. That's how we have done the practical of the day 1, day 2. We have also done this practical of this guy. Keep the domain name. The first switch is send the summary advertisement. The only way to attach the switches to another BTP domain is to manually set the different BTP domain name. Someone has asked this question. I don't know who. The dynamic protocol send the BTP domain name. We have seen that in the, if you guys remember the DTP practical, right? Therefore, if you have a 2 AND links that belong to 2 different BTP domain, now understood, the trunk does not come up. Trunk does not come up. If you use the DTP, in a special case, you must configure the trunk modes on or as a no negotiate on the both side in order to allow the trunk to be come up. So if you have 2 different switches, right? And if you are forming the 2 different switches have a 2 different domain name, and if you are forming the trunk via the DTP protocol, then trunk will not come up. Then in that case, you have to make a manual trunk. That's all, guys, of the BTP. Like this trying to show you the how to go. Okay, that's all. Nothing showing any. The configuration is not there over here. This is all about the BTP protocol, guys. Now I can show you how to enable the pruning. It's a very simple command. For example, come on. Switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. Right? I say that what? Let me change this guy as a client just so that I can show you. BTP mode is what? Client. And if I'm going to say the BTP pruning, you are in the client mode. You cannot do the pruning. You have to go in the server mode first of all. right? How about the switch 2? Switch 2 as a transparent, if you see. Can I do that? Same message. So this is the server mode right now. And if you see the do so BTP status, the pruning is disabled by default. What you can do that, you just need to go BTP pruning and bingo. Once I done on the switch 1, it's gonna flood the information to the entire switches except the switch 2. Reason, you are in the transparent. How about this guy? That's how the pruning you can enable it. I'm done with the BTP protocol, guys. You can ask me any question now.
That's it. So, I mean, I believe we had a major exposure of the BTP so far in last couple of classes.
But again,
I mean,
BTP
today.
version 3, we haven't discussed. This is the part of the CCI, right? So CCNP and the CS. And we have seen all the possible scenario of the BTP, man. One question
that means-
also another to you on the weekend for you guys, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I can do the BTP pruning, right? I can do the BTP. It means that, take example, if you have a user over there and you have a user over here, take example, and you have a user over here, you have a user over here, and this is also client mode, right? And let's make a server leave it fine.
Okay.
And so these guys are the part of the VLAN number 10, this guy is part of the VLAN number 10, this guy is part of the VLAN number 10, right? So normally what happened in that case, right? Question, BTP is not a part of the CCNA NP exam, correct? BTP is not a part of the CCNA NP. It's a part of the CCNA NP exam, Pardeep. I mean, pruning, it's not, I'm coming to this point. Just give me 1 minute more. Just give me 1 minute more. I'm coming to that point. So take example, this is the VLAN, BTP pruning I have enabled. So if I'm gonna enable the BTP pruning on the entire network, right, what happened? If there's a no VLAN number 10, right? If there's no VLAN number 10 users, then what he will do that? He will say that to switch to, hey, please prune the traffic for the VLAN number 10. So that they will be not sending any VLAN packets. Sorry, so that they will not sending any broadcasting packet because there is no user, right? There is no user. So he will inform to the switch to, hey, please prune the VLAN number 10.
So in general terms, how do you simply define the pruning remove
the unwanted broadcast packet, flooding packet
from the
on
whole
the trunk
network or
interface, on the trunk interface.
on the trunk interface? I see. That's fine. Thank you.
Now, so this is the pruning that I have enabled. It's a dynamic approach, right? Dynamic approach means what? So take example, once the VLAN number 10 users comes over there, then what happened? He will inform, hey, don't prune the VLAN number 10 now. He will inform, don't prune the VLAN number 10. Once the user gone, then what happened? He will say that, hey, prune the VLAN number 10 again. Once the user come back, he will inform, hey, don't prune it. It's a dynamic approach. It's a dynamic approach.
Dynamic approach means like
Automatically it's doing that. I'm not doing anything manually. If the user will be there, then he will not inform. If the user gone, he will inform it.
Automatically.
If it is a dynamic, what is the manual approach now? And is it a good way to enable the pruning in the network? Two questions. If it is dynamic, then what's a manual approach? And is it a good way? Is a good thing to enable pruning? 3 questions I gave you. 1, 2, and third is a tokening. That's a assignment for you guys.
But the token ring is not obsoleted, right? Or still
It's
there?
not completely, it's not completely also obsolete, right? Some companies still using it, but normally in your syllabus, if I talk about, you have a Ethernet VLAN,
Okay.
not the token name.
Okay.
But I haven't,
That's
but personally, I'll tell you, I haven't seen that token VLAN in the production input. I haven't seen that. But maybe you guys have seen, please let me know as well. But I haven't seen that.
But does Cisco support token ring? This is just a curious question, that's all. Like,
Yeah, I haven't tried, man. I'm telling you, I
Okay.
haven't tried.
Okay.
But I haven't seen in the production. If you guys have seen that, please let me know, because even I want to see that.
Okay, no problem. So last question. So if we say dynamic or manual configuration of the
Yeah. This is the
the
dynamic
pruning.
approach, right? Pruning. What's the manual approach?
Okay.
then?
Manual approach is that was a question actually I was going to ask you.
Ah, it's a bad question for now, right? So
Okay.
that's a homework for you guys. It's a complete weekend you have. You
Uh-huh.
guys go through this one. And on the Monday, we'll be covering the interesting concept of like what do we call the VACL protected private, and one more thing was what?
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, sir, just one like a half 30-second question.
Yes.
Okay, who actually does the dynamic pruning in this? I mean,
He
is that head?
on a server side, you're going to enable the pruning. It will reflect all the entire domain. On a server, if you're going to enable the pruning, it will inform to the every switches, hey, please enable the pruning on your network as well. He will send
Okay,
the
so admin does, right?
Yeah, admin, of course admin does. This is the command that I did. Can you see that? I did this one. I manually configured this command. Can you see that?
Okay, sorry, I missed few parts of the
Yeah,
lecture. That's what I was.
I enable it manually. And network,
Okay.
I'm the network engineer, I enable it.
No worries. That's absolutely fine.
Previously, it was disabled. I just enabled it now.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much. Sorry, I missed few parts. That's what I was asking.
Not a big deal, not a big deal. Understood.
Question. So you mentioned 4 topics for Monday. You said VACL, private,
Backup,
sorry.
protected port. I don't know if these topics are there in the syllabus or not, but we'll discuss it. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
As per the
I couldn't read it earlier because it was dark. So, okay.
VSL, and the next one is the pruning.
First is a VACL, protected, private VLAN, VLAN hopping.
Private.
Understood.
Okay, no problem. That's
Right.
fine.
Thank you.
So I'm not pretty
Thank you
sure
so much.
they're not there in the syllabus, but we will be covering on the Monday. Okay. So maybe in the Monday or Tuesday, it will take the 2 days max to minimum. It will take the like what we call 1 day max. It will take the 2 days.
No
Right.
worries.
For the NP
Thank you
level,
so much.
I level has a little bit different. Yeah, NP level it will take the 2 days, right? Okay, that's great, right? So I'm done for the today, man. So you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy Saturday, Sunday, but complete my lab that I gave you, the 3 tasks: tokening, second is a manual, and third, how to check the total configuration of the system. So run, just put the command so run.
It will come previous all command configuration, everything it will show you.
Sorry?
If you put so run means previous all configuration it will show you.
Yeah, all the configuration will show you that. Yeah.
Okay.
So what configuration you're looking? Are you looking with a specific configuration?
No. If a example, I have my hub is a previous network. They did some configuration. I want to check what are the configurations they did. So I want to check what are the protocol they're using, what are the mode they're using. So I want to check if you
Then you have to log in through that user perspective, what they did it. Like that's called the accounting. So what the user has done, you have to check from the user login.
Not user login. For example, once switch to they assign something. For example, they assign the TTP protocol, some assign the VTP protocol. So what are the
So you want to see that what configuration they have done, right? That's not.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can
that's
you please pass me the mouse?
That comes in the
Yes,
accounting, right?
yes.
Then you have to check what the user has did it. So there is no specific search thing on the Cisco Cat iOS. Yeah, it's there in the XR, right? That your question is there that I see in the XR. I mentioned that if you guys remember that there's a multiple types of operating system we have. So right now we have operating system, we are running in the NP level iOS and Cat iOS, right? So another XC we have, another XR we have, Nexus we have, right? So I can see that the question that you asked me, I can see that in the XR. But
But in general, the show, the gentleman was asking, I believe, the show running configuration.
so running
that should
configuration
show
all the configuration.
all the configuration up to
Yeah.
the last minute, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
general? Okay, thank you.
Is it DSCP or static? No, it's not DSCP static. Very Sakil Ahmed, how to check the config detail in layer to GUI mode switch? Detail, detail, what do you mean by detail?
No, show running configuration means which one is the last time did it, that one only I can show. If example,
No,
I
you
am
can
going
see
to
all
log
the
in
configuration, not the last time only.
in
You can see
previous,
all the config.
previously the did also.
Yeah, start to end.
Actually, I have a layer 2 GI mode switches, Linksys.
Okay,
How to check the configuration details in this switch?
layer to GUI mode switch. Is it a Cisco?
No, it's a Linksys switches.
I have no idea. Personally, I have no idea.
Oh, sir, I want to add one thing here, on the topic of the show running configuration, something that just I remembered, and
Yeah,
maybe
go ahead.
people might find it useful.
Mm.
That the show running configuration may not always necessarily be the same as the show startup configuration,
It's different.
which is
different.
which is it may not have all the latest and the greatest configuration that somebody did unless you save the
Unless you said
configuration.
it, right.
Yeah,
So
which
I
is the
I
startup
think so. We
configuration.
have discussed this part on the day class. When like if you guys remember, when I show you the how to configure the host name IP addresses, I showed you the configuration how to save the configuration. WR command, write memory,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
So
sir.
those things, right? So those things come in the startup config.
Right. Again, I'm not trying to overstep. I
No,
thought,
no,
I should
why?
just bring up the topic because gentleman asked and
That's a good thing, man.
remembered.
System should be interactive, right? So that everyone can understand the technology. Okay, so but Sakil, I have not pretty sure later GUI switch mode. So that's a different vendor. I have not pretty sure. I haven't worked it on that one. See, normally